Welcome to English 3, Quest 1, Module 1, Making Connections and Theme. Let's get started by looking at the directions for the task that you'll complete independently later. After reading the selection, make 4 connections, text to self, text to text, and your choice of 2 text to world connections. That could be family, community, nation, or globe. Be sure to comment on how the theme offers a representation of the human condition. See an example below. Okay, before we look at the example, I'd like to show you the center of the graphic because this is where you'll begin when you work independently. First, you'll record the title of the text that you're using, and then you'll generate a statement of theme. So what message or lesson stands out in the text that you're reading that you would like to use as the foundation for making connections to the text? Okay. In this case, it is failure to communicate concerns has detrimental consequences. So that's a major theme from Othello by William Shakespeare that I'm going to use as a focus for making connections to myself, to text, and to the world. Okay, let's move up to the top where we are looking at the text to self connection. Iago manipulates Othello and Desdemona both by using friends and manipulating situations. However, Iago is only successful because neither Othello nor Desdemona communicate their concerns to anyone. If they did, the conflict would not have escalated. Okay, that's from the text. Now I'm going to move to myself. In elementary school, Desiree manipulated my friend and me, and because we didn't speak to one another, our friendship ended. Failure to communicate destroyed our relationship. So what is the connection that I can make to the theme of failing to communicate having detrimental consequences? Well, the way it impacts human nature is as follows. Although adults know how important communication is in relationships, when we're exposed to something that makes us uncomfortable, it's human nature for us to avoid talking about it. That is to say, because when there's conflict, people don't want to anger another person or make them angry or sad or upset. They tend to avoid communicating, and then things go bad from there. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a text-to-text connection. I'm going to type as I speak my response. Again, I am using Othello by William Shakespeare to make my connections. In this particular connection, I need to refer to another text. And the other text I'm going to refer to is A Mercy by Toni Morrison. So if I were thinking of how communication if I'm going to take a look at how to connect communication to Othello, I'll begin with saying that Othello becomes jealous when he believes his wife is cheating on him. Because he doesn't discuss the issue with her, he becomes enraged and ends up killing her. If he had expressed his concern, there may have been resolution. So that's the part from the first text that I'm working with, Othello. The second text is A Mercy, and the character that I can connect to Othello is Florence. So I'll say here, similarly, Florence Uh-oh, my typing is not that great. Florence becomes jealous and neglects to discuss her jealousy with her love interest. She becomes so upset and jealous. She becomes so upset by her jealousy of her boyfriend's son that she breaks his arm, which is not okay. Now, if she had had a discussion with him, they could have probably resolved the issue. I won't type it for time's sake, but I will type the impact it has on the human condition. So, what I'll say is failing to communicate prevents I'll say reassurance that's needed to dampen jealousy, causing people to be irrational. Okay, so jealousy causes people to be irrational, and that is how it impacts the human condition. I'll stretch that a little bit. Okay, now we're going to take a look at text to world. Okay, I actually chose text to world nation, and I'm going to type only the information related to the nation and how it impacts the human condition for time's sake, because I think you're getting the hang of it now. So, um, I'm going to combine them both and discuss mainly the nation. I'm not going to do two separate sections. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change this to a different font so you'll be able to read it clearly. Okay. Amelia doesn't tell her friend that her husband is trying to steal her handkerchief. This is similar keeping a secret. Keeping a secret, like those who knew about Dylan Roof's manifesto, proves to be dangerous. And Dylan Roof is the shooter who went to the church in South Carolina and killed 9 people. On his website, he did have a manifesto that spoke about his plans to begin what you would call a revolution. Okay. Now, how does that information help us to make a connection to human behavior or the human condition? Well, to avoid becoming involved in uncomfortable situations is often how people deal with conflict. they use avoidance. Okay, so that is how it impacts the human condition. You see that people try to avoid situations that they don't necessarily feel comfortable addressing. Okay, so now that I've modeled how to make a text-to-text and a text-to-world nation, you are all set with making connections to the text that you'll be reading, and the text is called Shame. Thanks for your time. Bye.